Alright. Hi everyone, I am Dr. Darius Phelps, and I'm really excited for this opportunity to film this video for the Radical Beauty series. For those of you that don't know, I actually just dropped my debut collection, My God's Been Silent, almost about a month ago, February 13th, and today I'm going to be reading a few poems from there about the body. But most importantly, I want to take some time to really talk about the body and what it means, and I actually just had a long day. It's Monday. I'm a professor at night. I teach about 100 students across the span of the week, but also I'm an assistant director during the day, so I have about 200 students across 2 programs that I manage. So, long story short, my phone is constantly going off. Emails are constantly buzzing. I have about like 6 email addresses, so there's always something constantly going on. Like, I never get time for myself. So when I got the opportunity to do this, I thought about what does self-care really look like or mean to me. And I think after a long weekend, I just got back from AWP, which was amazing, but I am exhausted. I feel like I haven't slept in like 3 days. Just kind of need some time to myself. So I think about self-care, and then for me, what brings me joy, honestly, as an introvert, is silence. When I think about silence in the environment that I can unwind and relax in, is like right now. It's dead quiet. It's about like 9 o'clock at night, and it's cool. My windows are open, so the night air is coming in, and I just really think that that's important. I think, especially, I'm in my mid-30s now, and it's just like looking back over the last 13 years from my 20s, what I kind of put my body and stuff through with dealing with grief and losing my grandparents, which is all in this book. My body's been so tight. It's been in fight or flight mode for so long. And I think what's important for me now is really realizing the power of self-care, but also as someone who views vulnerability as his superpower, that's my mantra, is exercising that and amplifying that and showcasing that. And it's what I hope to do tonight with these poems, but also with this video. You know, especially as a BIPOC male, we don't have to be strong all the time. We can admit that we're hurting, that we're tired, that we feel a lot. I'm a water sign, so I'm always feeling something pretty heavily. And that's where poetry is the excavation piece for me, is letting that out. But I think it's important to, when we think about beauty, we think about joy, it's not perfect, it's perfectly imperfect. And I think it's important to, at least for me, to embrace that imperfection and those hues. Not to quote or plug my own self, but like embrace every hue of all that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that that is a message that a lot of young boys, a lot of men of color, need to know. You know, poetry, writing, emotions, and art are all tied together, and I think it's important to use it and find creative ways to express your emotions, especially so we're not viewed as angry, we're not viewed as hostile, but also to know the power of the pen. Not that I don't think I know, I really wouldn't be alive right now to make this video had I not discovered the power of poetry, the power of the pen, and the power of expressing myself, which has led to this. So I'm very grateful. But I do want to acknowledge the things that I put my body through. Grief is a killer. You know, I think there's nothing and no one can prepare you for what did you go through with losing someone or losing multiple people over the course of a few years. Like I did, I lost a lot of relatives back to back to back within the span of 3 years. And then it kind of just continued. And the body keeps score, you know? And I think, you know, if you, a lot of times we can try to push it away and throw ourselves into work or whatever have you, some form of escapism, but eventually catches up to you. And that's what I really showcase through these poems. I think a lot of times we turn to the darkness to kind of get through it and find the light. And that's what comes to mind when I think about the first poem I'm going to read, which is my Benadryl serves as an antidepressant. And to give you some backstory or history about that, my grandfather died in my arms 13 years ago, and it was really traumatic for me, and it ended up leading to me having insomnia, which I still struggle with today. It's a little bit better, but I have my bouts. But there was a time period when he first passed afterwards to where Benadryl was kind of like my go-to in order to get just at least 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and it would help, but it would also numb me. And that's where the title of this poem came from, that Benadryl serves as an antidepressant, because the next day I would wake up feeling so extremely numb to where I kind of got addicted to that feeling because I felt so much and I was grieving so much and I was feeling rage and all this just like heavy sadness, and Benadryl would at least knock that out for at least a good 24 hours. So I kind of got addicted to not only just using it to sleep, but also using it to not feel. And so here's the first poem I'm going to read. My Benadryl serves as an antidepressant. My mother says we should never beg for love. But this isn't the first time I find myself on bloodied knees for you. I take these pills to forget the life that God has bestowed upon his little miracle child, me. A miracle wrapped in a sinner's skin and trembling hands. A hallelujah whispered between my breaths of sorrow. I swallow sleep to silence the oldest church hymns I no longer believe in. The gray fog comes with its promise of oblivion, softening the edges of a world that cuts with the sharpest kitchen knife. I build the finest cathedrals out of empty capsules, stack them like prayers I'm now too tired to say. My mother says we should never beg for love, but I've learned it's the only way to remember how to feel alive. And this next one, actually the section of this starts with an epigraph from Marge Piercy, and that epigraph reads, "Shout, shout until you're hoarse is a terrible thing to be silenced." And this particular section that I'm about to read from is titled, "My Healing Don't Come Quiet." And this poem is after the Benadryl poem, and it's kind of told in like this autobiography timeline of my life. And this next one is called "My Body is Screaming." I wake up swimming, drenched silk sheets, skin soaked in fluids not yours. My mind delirious, my organs fragile, knuckles frostbitten, palms split open like confessionals. I cannot rewire all the ways we bleed into each other. Mine still refuses to have a name. I am tired of pressing Vicks into the chest, menthol sting, disgusting ache. I am tired of soaking this body, Epsom salt burning, scalding water swallowing me whole, when all I want is to be bathed in you. My darling, we don't need perfection to love. The way the moon never dims for the stars. My body is overcome with sadness. Still, I refuse to hand my grief to God. Silence feels too much like mine. To be loved is something I've never known. My dear, my body is screaming, but I won't let it make a sound. I muffle my cries for help, fall to my knees and pray, but the echo swallows me whole. There is nothing worse than silence naming me unworthy. And this next one is called Waking Up with Clenched Fist. There's a few months ago before this book was going to its final edit that I realized I was so stressed that my shoulders would wake up. I wake up, my shoulders like up to my neck, and my fists were always clenched. So this poem is called Waking Up with Clenched Fist. waking up with a clenched fist, nails carving half moons into my skin, as if my body is trying to hold on to something it is already lost. The weight of the world settles heavy on my chest before my eyes open, before the sun dares to remind me that morning has come again, that I must rise again, that I must endure again. I have been here before, in the silence between breaths, and the hollow ache of knowing nothing I will do will ever be enough. They tell me to open my hands, to let go, to soften, to breathe. But how do I loosen my grip when I'm holding onto the last scraps of a dream that was never meant for me? How do I open my hands when every time I have, the world has stolen what little I had left? I wake up with a clenched fist, because it's the only way I know how to keep from falling apart. And this last one kind of like brings it home. I think it really deals with me looking back at my body and realizing, hey, I put you through so much, and you know, I'm proud of what you've endured. I'm proud of what I've endured. I'm proud of what we've endured, you know. And I think this actually one of the last ones actually included in this book. It actually was included first in an academic article, and I was like, I love this one because it shows kind of like this full circle of coming to terms with my grief, but the abuse up in my body, whether it was eating too much, eating too little, substance abuse with the Benadryl, you know, the repercussions of not sleeping. So this last one is titled, My Body is Text as Testimony. They've read me wrong so many times I stopped correcting them. Each scar, each inked confession, a paragraph they never bothered to translate. My ribs dog-eared pages from chapters I tried to erase. My knees, footnotes to prayers that never made it past the ceiling. My mouth, a redacted manifesto, edited by hands that swore they loved me. They touch my skin and call it beautiful, never seeing the ledger underneath. The quiet accounting of everything I lost to become this body, this battered, burning book. I am not your metaphor. I am the archive. I am the altar. I am the aftermath. Every bruise, every ache, every restless night, every shiver that splits me open in the dead hours of morning. They are my text. They are my testimony. They are my truth. And they are still unfolding. All right, that are the poems from My God's Been Silent, just dropped last month. Thank you all so much for having me. It's been truly a blessing. Look forward to seeing you on the road. And once again, My God's Been Silent is out now. So thank you and take care.